A few days ago, I tried out the Pikmin 4 demo. There are a few things I'm concerned about, and some things that kinda caught me by surprise. Here's what my thoughts are. After the main menu, you get into a bit of a cutscene. Olimar tells you in his stupidly deep Japanese voice that he crashed again, and now he's screwed. Then you play as him for a second before the cutscene resumes. The story in Pikmin 4 kind of feels like an excuse for the gameplay. Basically, Olimar crashed again somehow, then a crew was sent to rescue him, and they too crashed. Now that this tragedy has happened, they send only you, the rookie who literally just started, to rescue everybody. Now you need to reassemble the crew one by one, as well as a few unexpected survivors who are there to explore the planet on their own. But before you get into that, you've got to make your custom character. The character creation is very basic, there aren't many options at all, but it technically exists, so that's cool. Now you can fly down to this mysterious planet. I absolutely love the environment in this game. There's definitely a certain chibi robo charm to this world. I'm glad they really ran with the theme of being tiny in a giant world. This is lots of fun. And in this game, you don't get ship parts, you get sparklium from collecting treasure. It's really cool to see Pikmin 4 draw from the handheld spin-off Hey Pikmin, which had the same system, which I actually prefer to collecting ship parts. These treasures are everyday objects that your ship assumes were made for somebody Olimar's size. It's really funny to see the ship struggle to understand what these objects are used for, and then generate a name. One of my favorite things in Hey Pikmin was reading Olimar's description and thoughts on each of the treasures he collected, so I'm really happy to say that that feature is back. But this time it's not Olimar making the remarks, it's this treasure guy. I also love the level of detail on these objects. They have proper branding and everything, it's really cool. But to get to these fun parts, you need to go through quite an extensive introduction first. This tutorial section took me an hour or two to get through. It runs you through all the different mechanics, both old and new. It also introduces you to some pretty fun characters. But my main issue was the amount of fluffy dialogue. Maybe I just have a hard time sitting still and reading or something, but I found this whole intro painfully slow. And the dialogue is a bit confusing for me too, because it seems too verbose for a kid to understand, but also too mundane for an adult to really enjoy. Again though, that could just be me, and it's not like you can't just skip the dialogue if it bores you, so it really isn't an issue. But the one thing that I could see being an issue is the difficulty being too low. Because in Pikmin 4, you start off with a pretty hard cap on how many Pikmin you can have out at once, which slowly upgrades over time. This kinda puts training wheels on the gameplay, removing a lot of the risk. And while you can get a higher capacity the further you go, I'm not really sure it's an upgrade. See, it's like the jetpack boost upgrade in Hey Pikmin that lets you fly for longer. It's not really an upgrade, because as you progress, the gaps get farther apart to accommodate, so it's more like scaling things up to give you a false sense of improvement. I really worry that a limit on maximum Pikmin plus the rewind time feature will remove all risk from the gameplay. If you can't bring out all your Pikmin, there's not much of a threat to what you've been building up, and even if you do get that small pool of Pikmin wiped out, you can just rewind. Not to mention, everything in the demo felt very easy. Just throw all your Pikmin at the enemy and it stands no chance. In fact, the only time I lost any Pikmin was when I accidentally threw them off a cliff because I got confused with the controls, and I'm a bit worried about that too. There are all kinds of new menus to go through and buttons to hold and press. It makes me think the controls might feel a bit clunky when the puzzles really start to get complicated. The abundance of new features can feel very overwhelming. I really started to think Colin over here was the antagonist of Pikmin 4, because he was constantly downloading new menus onto my tablet that were trying to bug me the whole time. And it also sucks that so far there's no sign of a co-op 2-player mode like Pikmin 3 Deluxe had. This is pretty disappointing. I think a lot of people expected co-op 2-player mode to just be part of Pikmin games now. There is, however, this pebble shooter mode that you can play as a second player, which is oddly reminiscent of the second player mode in Super Mario Galaxy. But matter of fact, did anybody else notice the star bits in the trailer? I swear Miyamoto watched my Pikmin Galaxy video and actually listened to my pitch. Now there are a few things that we didn't quite get in the demo but were shown in the trailer. Stuff like the night expeditions, and the Piccolopedia, which lets you see stats and models of enemies and even train against them without having to risk Pikmin. And given what I've experienced with the demo, I really think these features and any others will be lots of fun to use after you learn them. My main concern is that the difficulty will be too low while the complexity is too high, but I'm hopeful that this is just a result of the demo being at the very beginning of the game. Well, that's really all I've got to say about this demo. It was really fun. The worst part about it was how fun it was when it ended. I honestly can't wait till July 21st when this game releases. Anyways, I'll see you later. Thanks.